It's Monday morning and it's the first day of classes. It's lunchtime, so I made myself a nice salad and some fresh apricots from the market and then San Pellegrino. Okay, so it's Monday evening and it just rained, so it's nice and cool now. Also, I love this really cool looking wall, it's so big. But anyways, it's nice and cool. I'm going to go eat some dinner. And I also went shopping earlier, so I got Grace some perfume. And let's see, I got a nice little ornament for our Christmas tree. And I also got a bottle of wine from the Pulcino Winery. And oh, I also got the best gelato. I took a video of it earlier, but it was dark chocolate, and it also had it was like, I think, hazelnut with like some kind of crunchy bits in it. It was delicious. Some of the best gelato I've ever had.
Above the ceiling in the area that is really looking for doggies.
Some Vino Nobile from this restaurant I'm eating at. It's called Porta di Bacco. So inside the Porta di Bacco restaurant. Look at how amazing this is. They have so many cool things. Look at this. Look at how beautiful this space is. So this is gnocchi with Goose Ragout. It's really, really good. It smells so good. Inside the Palazzo Communale in Montepulciano. And we're gonna go up to the top of the tower. So this is the entrance. And I think all of these are family records, I'm not really sure. We're gonna go up these stairs. It's very narrow. Oh my lord. This is crazy. I have to hold my bag in front of me, it's so narrow. Oh wow. So here we are on the terrace. See if I can get a better view here. It's the piazza. It's so sunny today. I'm gonna go up to the top here. This is ridiculous. I have to bend over to go up this. Oh my god. Look at that. Alright, we made it to the top. Check out these bells. So cool. To be careful here. Wow. Look at that. That's a great view. Let's go over here. Wow. Look at the valley. Let's see. So that should be way out there. That's Monte Filonico. Let's see, there's San Biagio. And way out there is Pienza. And there's the Fortezza way out there.
First, a couple of words about this building. So this place has been realized during the Middle Age, more specifically in 1337. And this year is also the first one in which we own papers about the first bottles of wine made in this place. We actually think that here they used to make wines from way before, but these are statements that are not super easy to prove because, you know, medieval archives, they have been mainly lost with time. But at least from 1337, that wine is made here. So the family, the Ricci, they have been here in Montepulciano since a little bit before, since 1150. And there is also a quite funny story about the origin of the family, but this is one that I'm going to keep it for. I'm going to tell it to you in the place where all began. And the only thing I will spoil for now is that the symbol, the emblem of the family, was the hedgehog looking at the sun and the sunshine. And that's a symbol that you will see in many parts of this place. It's also the one that we choose to put on the labels about this one. Then there are several theories about the origin of this place. We're still unsure about why they choose to build the place as such. One of the main theories we have is that at the time, and by at the time I mean 1337 when this place was built, they were thinking of wine as it was something sacred, more specifically as it was the blood of Christ. So this is perhaps why sometimes noble families used to build their wineries with the shape of cathedral, like this one, because these places should have been hosting the blood of Christ. So for example, so the name of the main grape variety used in Tuscany in general to make wines, that is called Sangiovese. And the word itself, Sangiovese, in Italiano, it comes from sangue di Giove, which literally translates as blood of Jupiter. So this was a conception that wasn't even Christian, but it was already pagan, maybe taken from the Etruscans, which were the population who used to live in these lands before the Romans and before the Latins. And they already had their own wine culture, by the way. They used to make wine, although that one wasn't exactly wine in a modern sense. It was more like a fermented juice of grapes, and then apparently they used to throw everything on the inside, so things like cheese, spices, so it was more like an alcoholic sour. Constant throughout the whole year without needing any air conditioning system. So you have the climatization, it's all natural, and it's made by two elements. One is this material, which you will see is pretty open in Montepulciano. It's called sandstone, and the sandstone already acts as a natural climatizator. That is also helped by the architecture of this place. In this other room, I'll bring you there in a moment, you will see that there is a ceiling that reaches 15 meters of height. So it's more than double the size compared to this one. Both of them. We do have two different versions of Vino Nobile. One of them, we call it the classic one, a traditional bottle, while the other one, that's a cru selection of Vino Nobile. So it's basically a single vineyard wine. All the grapes used to produce that wine, they all come from one of our vineyards, which is the highest one we own. Roughly 500 meters in sea level, that's our best vineyard, in a sense. Because indeed, all our vineyards are all in these hills around Montepulciano. There is three main zones in which we have vineyards. One of them being at the bottom part of these hills, roughly 250 meters on the sea level. We do have two vineyards there, both exposed to south. So, south of Montepulciano means that these vineyards are placed in Val di Chiana Senese. So, Val di Chiana Senese is basically the territory that connects Montepulciano and Siena. And by the way, the word itself, Val di Chiana, that was the Clanis Valley. So Clanis was a river that anciently used to flow in this valley during the Etruscan period. This part here, it had slightly different purpose initially. So its history is more linked to the one of this material, of the sandstone, which is a pretty fragile one. So basically, it's hard to build a whole town like Montepulciano on a hill that's so fragile. So this is why, already at the end of the 13th century, the town government of Mons Polizianus, Montepulciano, began to give money to noble families mostly, in order to help them to dig a series of tunnels underneath the city. They were places that were similar to this one, because they have been built all with those arches. These are all structural ones that are meant to sustain and to reinforce the town which is above us. Then these places were similar to this one I mentioned, because they were dark, they were big, they were empty, they were often well climatized. So they were, but they still are, perfect to be wine cellars. Basically they dug them as tunnels, but then they started to use them as wine cellars as soon as they were built. And this is also the main reason why you probably noticed an anomaly, because in Montepulciano, all the most historical wine cellars are inside the city center. which is something strange if you think about it, because typically wine producers are always building their cellars next to their vineyards, because that is the easiest choice. But here, first of all, in these tunnels dug for stability purposes, we still have the perfect conditions to age wines. Then also, in Montepulciano, we are a little bit on a strategical spot in a sense, because we are in between Val di Chiana Senese from one side, Val d'Orcia to the other side. These are basically the two valleys that are connecting Siena with Firenze, with Arezzo, with the Via Francigena, which was the Pilgrim Road. So Montepulciano has always been a passage town. It was a very rich town, by the way, a town of merchants, because here, noble families, the Ricci included, they made their money by selling local products at the market. So things like olive oil, cereals, vegetables, and of course, wine as well. This is a cave that was dug by the Etruscans approximately in 500 BC. So those 2,500 years ago. And this is also an uncommon place in this sense, because today 90% of the remainings we own about Etruscans, they are typically either of two kinds. So they're either tombs or houses, habitations. Well, this one here, it was probably a temple. Now, I'm saying probably because this is a supposition of us, really. We're sure that it's Etruscan, but we suppose that it was a temple, because here there are these niches carved in the wall that were used express to put the votive instruments to pray. Things like ashes, for example. And also, a curiosity, as you were stepping in, I was telling you to be careful with your head. As you probably noticed, the entrance is quite short, and so short of these tunnels, because indeed Etruscans were said to be like midgets, basically. It seems that the average of age for a grown male was roughly 1.35 m, 1.40 m. So a little bit more than about 4 feet, basically. They could happily stand inside these tunnels. You can pick the ones that you prefer. So in the sheet in front of you, you have the names of the wines. Just put your glass when you want us to pour, and we will know. First, all the Sangiovese based wines. The first 4 are all the ones we make with Sangiovese. The last 2 are the 2 IGDs, the ones that we produce with French grapes. Wines that internationally, these ones are also known as Super Tuscans. I don't know if you ever heard this word before, which is, just a fancy term to refer to any Bordeaux blend that's made outside of with our sparkling version of Sangiovese. So this is a wine, the one that we produce with the years of the cluster, if you remember. So these are Republic grapes, grapes in the past we used to simply throw away. It's made 100% Sangiovese. Now, when you want to produce a sparkling wine, you basically have 2 ways to do that. You can do it the champagne way, by using the champenoise or the classic method, or you can do it the prosecco way, by using the Charmat or Martinotti method. So the difference is basically that when you want to make a champagne, you're basically adding yeast and sugar inside the bottle to do the second fermentation, also called carbonation, so for the production of bubbles. I don't know if you ever saw when they spin the bottles of champagne, that is done in order to move the yeast that's on the inside. While Charmat method, same method you use to produce Prosecco, it's quicker because it requires 3 months versus 1 year, and it consists in adding yeast and sugar inside a huge sealed tank where the wine is. This bottle here actually took us 6 months to do the carbonation, so it's Tuscany. It's a region that's known mostly for its red wines, and as you can see, in Montepulciano we make no exception. So the first red wine we're going to try is the Rosso di Montepulciano. This is our youngest red wine, 2021 vintage, a wine that we aged for 6 months in the barrels and 6 months in the bottle. This is made 95% Sangiovese and 5% Merlot grapes. Rosso di Montepulciano, you can think of this wine as a daily wine in a sense, because this is not a wine that has a huge structure. It's actually a pretty vertical wine. When you smell it in your glass, all the aromatic compounds will reach your nose vertically. When you smell a Vino Nobile, you will already see that this bouquet is much more well-rounded in this sense. So Rosso di Montepulciano is also an extremely fruity wine. You will have red fruits in your mouth this time, the small berries. So things like strawberries, raspberries, the small cherries when they're still not too much mature, so the more acidic red fruit. This is a wine that plays a lot with acidity and tannins.
It's a very new wine, as I mentioned, so you can drink it with things, with a very wide array of good pairings food-wise. So things like a light cheese, for example, with some cold cuts, with a pasta dish with an easy sauce like tomato sauce, for instance. But honestly, everything that's based on salt, protein, and fat is going to be pretty good paired with this wine here.
This is the cuvee. Grazie mille. Alright, so this is the Rosso. See how it is. Okay, last one. This is the Serraldo Vino Nobile. It's a little bit older. It has a really great smell to it. I think this one is my favorite of the Conrad shopping. I've been so excited to try this restaurant. So it's dinner time and I'm gonna go get some pizza from Leiby. It says the Calabrese pizza at Leiby. It has Nuja, buffalo mozzarella, basil, cherry tomatoes.